Hello world, PDR coming at you here with a 2012 Honda CRV, a really nice car for a really nice person, and this happens to have a slight collision, just a baby bump, but it's about a 7-inch around complete area, right through the emblem. So obviously this requires paintless dent repair or a very expensive body shop process. What we're going to do is I gained some access on the inside. We're taking a look at this dent right here. Let me spin the hat around, and it's got, if you want to look at this pretty closely here, I just cleaned up this plastic a little bit, but it's still kind of dirty. It has a little tiny scratch in the plastic, and that thing in the paint is not through the paint. So I think once we get that out, we'll be able to give that a nice buff. My whole goal is to make the pushes right there without breaking any paint. I can't really use the heat gun on it and get it up to 130 because this is plastic and it'll just start melting that plastic. So I gained some access on the inside of the car, took this thing apart, put it all right here, and basically let's do the common sense thing that I like doing. Let's move my board out of the way, because with common sense, I'm not even using the board. I'm just gonna look at it, find some view on it, and see if I got my there, maybe from underneath. And this is just the tips of my fingers. Oh guys, tips of my fingers right there in the CRV emblem. Now let's go up to the top and kind of thumb. Oh yeah, I think without the, now I'm gonna need the board, right? So now I think what I am gonna have to do is brace this thing open with a prop rod and a bungee cord. Let's get this board on it and see what it looks like right into the dent now. I think a lot of that moved with just the physical popper. I was gonna just say let's intro this video and see if I can gain access, but I'm all over it, made a nice pop and push. I think what I'm gonna do is brace this thing open, and I'll bring you guys in for when I've got my R32 tip on that, and start pushing, make some nice baby pushes and take that last little bit of dent out. We do have another one that we can do on this car for free, and we'll just throw that one into the free bin because I thought that I'd be spending 2.5 hours on this dent. Maybe I don't have to now. Just the majority of that came out with my thumb. Very nice. And let's get the rest of it out, and I'll see you guys in just a bit. Okay guys, we're back. I got it braced open. I got the prop rod up there and it's held open, and I've got my R32 tip in my nice Dentcraft tool. And I'm gonna just kind of find myself, I'm going in sideways like this on it. And let me show you from the top. The tip is gonna be like that, and I'm gonna be prying up. So let me get up underneath here, find where we're at. And if you guys wanna catch this little teardrop, that's where I'm at, is right there. I'm gonna start at the bottom of that teardrop and start working my way up towards the most severe point. I don't wanna just start at the most severe point and push because it's not heated up, and I wanna take it real slow. And if you notice, I'm not pushing this little teardrop up to completion. I'm just getting it up a little bit, and then so I can move some more metal so I can get a little bit farther up. The board flickering, let's change that. Yeah. There we go. Now it's better. And we've got a little bit of Tibetan flute going on. At this point in the video is when I say I sure do appreciate all the people that click on this video. I really do. We love to see the community grow. Ooh, did you guys see what happened right there? That was actually the elbow of my... So the elbow of my tool was like this, and I was kind of trying to pry this way, but pushing up farther and farther, and the elbow caught right there. So I might either have to use a different tool or flip that tool around so it's the other direction. So that might be the way. Let's just clean up this little line real quick that I made, a little bad high spot. And Please excuse any background noise, guys. We are out in nature. And yeah, I kind of made a little boo-boo there, and we caught it on camera. Cleaned that up real nice. I'm gonna try to go this direction if I have the room, but I don't want the same thing to happen over on the other side either. So it looks like that is about as far as I can get with this weird twisty pry I have backwards. I can make a little bit of movement, but that's not what I want to do. I think I'm going to change tools and come in here and get either I'm going to try orange or Bertha. Obviously, I'll try Bertha first because I just want to see if that same angle thing is going to happen. And no, it's not. I can get in here. Obviously, this tip is not squishy. This is a straight metal tip. If it makes any kind of weirdness. And just for a little insider tip, guys, I've got my hand on that elbow. So if anything pushes into this metal now, it's my finger. Just to make sure that that doesn't happen again, I'm just sitting here holding that little elbow and seeing as far up as I can get. And it looks like I can almost get all the way to the top. Just make some baby little pushes through the top here. No, through the middle. And it's kind of a weird angle, guys, but we're getting it. We are getting it. So now I kind of want to use a different line just to see where I'm at. Kind of Zen mode right now, keeping you in for a lot of the in-depth pushings. And that right where that one high spot push is, that's basically my guideline for the center of that dent. I pushed a little too hard. I wouldn't say on purpose, but I won't say unintentionally, or unintentionally either. It's kind of, I wanted to crest that center so I know right where I gotta keep everything to make that line remain straight. And the bend of this tip is just, it's kind of not working for me. So I'm gonna go to orange and just see if I can tip out all the way up into there. Once again, I am holding the tip, but I know that this one will pretty much get all the way up into that area. And it's tight, guys. It's one of those ones that, yeah, if I could have the heat gun on it and just be right up to 130, it might help. And yeah, I could put a piece of painter's tape over that and just risk it, but metal will melt even under tape. And melted metal is, you got to transfer what's the, lesser of two bad boo-boos on a car, a dent or no dent in a piece of melted plastic that looks funky. So yeah, we want to just get this dent out as nice and clean as we can. I would say that there's a brow here. I know that there's a brow here, and I think I do need to give it some taps. And I know that I thought there was a brow down on the bottom. Kind of, if you look real hard, there is, and it goes through this emblem and it comes around here. I'm gonna give it some real nice taps and kind of blend this brow in, and that's gonna help finish this center off. But I don't know, we're getting a little bit in depth on this dent, and I know it is gonna take a couple of, I thought, oh, I started this video off and I thought this dent would be done in 2.5 hours, and then we got the majority of it out right after I got my hand in there. And now we're just working it. It's still probably an hour away from being done, guys. Paintless dent repair is not a quick and easy process. It's a long, slow, patient, diligent process, and when you finally get to that level of having the confidence, yeah, it looks easy, but it still takes a lot of patience. And right now, guys, I'm just right in the center. I'm right there, and I'm using the fog. I'm really trying to baby it, and it's getting more difficult to see, but it's also getting very tensious. A lot of tension in that metal. But we're getting a lot of it out, and I'm right up on the top. I don't want to make any cracked paint, but with the severity of this dent, worst case scenario is a tiny little crack when this thing comes out and you put a little tiny piece of touch-up paint on it. We're going to definitely try to avoid that. And I think in just my own personal approach to that is, if you're going to get the dent all the way out but it's going to crack, or you're going to get it all the way to the point where you just leave a little tiny pocket, I'd rather leave that little pocket and then fill that pocket with touch-up paint than crack the paint and then try to fill that crack with paint. Cracking paint is always the worst part of paintless dent repair. The thing that when it happens, you're like, oh, you know, because that's the one thing we don't want to do, is have that paint crack. So on that note, I'm going to just sit here and baby this thing out a lot more. I think we're going to come in and show you the final result on this one, and then we're going to do another little one for free on the front fender, because it needs to be done. I can't leave a dent on a car, especially a nice car for a nice person like this. And yeah, this one's going to take a little bit more time. I'm just going to get in here and dial in, spend my 20-30 minutes on it, and we'll come back to you guys in just a bit. Okay guys, here's what we ended up with on this one. I put it all back together and closed it up. We did get to that point where I didn't want to take out that last little bit. You can see how nice that whole dent came out, and just basically from start to finish, how nice it came out. I did a lot of brow work down here and tapped out a lot of stuff. Even buffed out the emblem a little bit, but like I say, when I started making those pushes and they started showing, I was like, okay, that's it. That was the last push I made, stopped. Didn't want to take it any further because I didn't want to crack paint the way I kind of described it. Here's the two that we want to do on the front driver's fender. And I noticed these just while I was sitting there working on that one. I noticed this little guy, and then I got a better line on it, and I noticed this little guy. So let's just grab number one. Got the meditation music going. I was trying to see if that was one right there, but it looks like just a scuff. I did just manually buff this panel real quick. Now to get to this thing, there's a over plastic layer and then an under plastic layer. This thing goes over the under, so here's how I do it. I go back in until I feel that lip, and then go back out, and now I'm in. So bam. And it's kind of sneaky, but oh, hat, and let us see what we're looking at here. I'm gonna go with that same angle that I had, but I'm gonna go a little bit closer so we can see it a little bit better. Hopefully you guys have a visual, and it's got a little scratch through it. So basically that scratch is what, you know, where the center of the dent was. It's basically a guideline for where I need to push. I just push along that scratch, because if you think about it, wherever made the dent and scratched something, that was obviously the most severe point to scratch the paint. And the pressure that I'm putting on this tool is about 2 pounds, pound and a half, and it's mostly a twist. I'll twist it to get to that point, and then I'll pry. Let's go with the other hand. Actually, let's move the board like this, up and over and looking down on it. I'll get even lower on it. Oh yeah, that thing is gone. It's got a little tiny wave right where that scratch is. Let's just finish that up. This is a free one. I don't even know if the customer knows they had this dent, to be honest, because the one that I pointed out on the other side had a little scratch in it, and it was kind of severe, but I just took that one out for free also. So, on that note, guys, let's do this last little dent right here while I'm dropping my tool. But hey, let's go like this. And it's kind of tough to see at that angle. A little farther out. And as I brought the board in, try to find my little spot again. As I brought the board in, I saw another little tiny push I wanted to make on this front one. Clean that up real nice. I mean, I have such good access with this fender. Love Hondas. Love working on Hondas. They're great, great cars. Here we go. That little bit's out. Now let's see if I can just slide the tool up. Yeah. And that dent is right here, what we'd call a what? 5 pusher? Let's see. Let's find my tool here. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of a funky angle there, guys. I couldn't even find it. I was actually pushing probably around up here. But there we go. Let's make 2 or 3 more pushes real quick. That one's out. Yeah, that one was a 5 pusher. Completely out. Came out real nice. And those are just what I like to do for free. I wouldn't want to leave a car after taking that big dent out. I wouldn't want to leave a car with 2 little dents in it. So I sure hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, show me some love, you know, hit us up with a like, share it with all your social medias. We sure appreciate that. And of course, you know, hit that sub button and those little notification bells, and then you're always notified every time we make new content. You know, if anybody truly appreciates this in a teaching fashion, you can always hit us up with some energy on the PayPal link down below. Other than that, I'll just say the thing. Hey, this has been PDR and I'm out. Peace.